recycle, reuse, reduce. That's what many people were told as school students. And for a long time, plastic was considered a miracle material. After all, it could be used to create many things. Plus, it's durable and could sustain. But it's said to pose health risks and is said to be bad for the environment. That may be why you are sucking your drink through a paper straw that dissolves pretty fast. Ever wish you could go back to plastic? After all, there's recycling, right? Yet, could it be that plastic recycling is fraudulent? That's what the Center for Climate Integrity's report, The Fraud of Plastic Recycling, alleges. The report is said to unveil internal documents and meeting notes that expose the industry's cognizance of the limitations of plastic recycling. The idea of the report was to put forth the notion that the plastics industry may have been orchestrating a scam, and that plastic recycling isn't technically or economically viable at scale. So, was this a clever marketing ploy to deflect attention from the real issues at hand? According to the report, as far back as the 1980s, industry insiders were aware that plastic recycling isn't the silver bullet it's made out to be. In 1989, it was even said by an industry leader that recycling couldn't go on indefinitely and that it doesn't solve the solid waste problem. So, why keep plastic going on? The report outlines that this is because of the bottom line. Plastic is big business and its sale hinges on the supposed illusion of recyclability. If recycling is promoted, the industry could sell more plastic and have a social license to operate. And it's said that the recycling symbol plastered on plastic products is just to create a false sense of recyclability. In reality, the report states that only a fraction of plastic waste is actually recycled. According to the US Department of Energy, only about 5% of the 48 billion kgs of plastic waste annually produced in the US is recycled. And the majority of plastic is said to end up in landfills or incinerators. People who live near sites where plastic is burned may face a lifetime of different health risks. Those who earn income by picking waste may end up with more risk of cancer, infectious disease, respiratory problems, and more due to exposure. If this is true, in theory, that's diabolically clever. It's said that plastic producers, in the 1950s, wanted to make sure there was a demand for their products, and that meant disposability. At an industry conference, it's said that producers were urged to focus on low cost, big volume, and expendability. It was said that they were encouraged to make sure materials end up in the garbage wagon. And that was said to lead to the era of single-use plastics. Though, kids in the US were said to be suffocating on plastic. And in the 1980s, recycling was seen as the solution that would placate environmental concerns without threatening the bottom line. So, did that mean that recycling was the industry's saving grace without actually being so? The plastics industry is said to respond to these revelations by dismissing the report as flawed and outdated. Why is it so hard to recycle plastic? It's made from oil and gas. If one has to recycle plastic, it is said to require meticulous sorting. There are a lot of chemically distinct varieties of plastic, and they may not be recycled together. Plus, it would be even more expensive. Plus, it's said that plastic degrades every time it's reused, so this can only be done once or twice. And even when recycling happens, it's said that manufacturers may mix in freshly made plastic or toxic additives to melted down plastic. There's also said to be something called chemical recycling. Here, the plastic is said to be broken down into tiny molecules to make new plastic. But the process is said to create more pollution and be more energy intensive. Plastic production is said to triple by 2050. And it's said that 170 countries are working on a UN treaty to end plastic pollution. And with a population of over 1.3 billion and a rapidly growing economy, India may have trouble recycling plastic. What could be done to recycle 100% of plastic? Is that a tangible reality?